Good day, my YouTube friends. Today we're going to do a review of Mobius's 1965 Plymouth Satellite. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, I'd like to start off with the directions. They're typical Mobius. They're glossy. They give you your basic things, your body colors, and part colors. The last page, they actually show a model someone has built it, and it's painted, and they show you the motor once it's together. It's your average Mobius direction sheet. It's only opens up like so. It seems pretty detailed. There's only I guess there's only 6 steps to building this kit, supposedly. Those are the directions. Now, here's the body. The body is actually very crisp. There's very, very little flash on there. It's smooth, so it will lend to painting very, very well. It's not like the 71 Ranger and the 69 Ford pickup they put out that was rough. This one's actually going to be rather nice as far as the body goes. If you want to compare it to a similar kit, Lindbergh put out the 64, and for those of you who know about Mopars, the 64 basically from the firewall back is the same as a 65. It's just the front of the car here is different for the 65, but the tail lights and the back and the top they're the same for either for all the different versions. But so this is the body. I'm trying to figure out the lighting here so it doesn't wash out. It still gives enough light to see the model. So anyway, this is the body. It's very crisp, very clean. The only thing you'll have to pay attention to is that the trunk lines and the door lines are very shallow. You'll want to take and scribe them deeper a little bit so that when you paint it, it shows up. The next part I'd show you is the glass, and even though I said at the beginning of the video I would pull everything out of plastic, I find it's better to leave the glass alone. It's really interesting how the headlights are. They snap into place. You don't have to glue them. I think a lot of thought was put in on this kit to make it easier and more detailed. The next thing is the tires. They are no-name skinnies with white walls. They have good tread detail on them. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I'd really build this kit so stock that I would use these tires. I'd probably use something with sidewall names and just look a lot better. These are pretty generic tires. The decals, let me go ahead and open these up. They come in a separate little plastic thing. I need to clean my scissors. They're not cutting very well. Alright, so the decals. There's not a whole lot. They do have the dashboard instrument cluster, which is nice. You don't have to paint or detail anything. They have the air breather and the Plymouth logos and all that. So, they have enough to make it look pretty cool. But at least they have the dash. That really adds to a kit and makes it a lot nicer. The next thing is this little bag here. I went ahead and opened them up. On this tree, you have the engine. And I'm not quite sure what the engine is. I didn't pay attention to the engine size. It being a 65, it could be a 318 poly motor. I'll have to look into that, and I'll let you know at the end of the video what engine it is. It seems to me that they got 2 carburetors, you know, so they probably got an option for 2 carburetor intake. You know, you got your starter. Everything is separate. You know, your starter's separate from it, from the engine halves. Your oil filter, your coil, the alternator's very well detailed. Everything's so a lot of detail in this kit. The distributor's highly detailed and very nice. I can tell already that this model will be a blast to put together. You know, with some, you know, just doing a clean job and painting, you can make this kit to look really, really, really nice. Here's the lower half of your K-member with the torsion bars. Nice detail, but it's rather thin, which is probably correct to scale, but you have to be very careful cutting this out of the tree. You know, I wouldn't use a knife. I would saw it off, you know, with a very fine saw, and take your time, because these look like they would break easy. The same with the front spindles. You know, they have spindles where you snap on the tires, but they're also made to be posable, so that's nice. What I really like about this is, if you guys are into detailing quite a bit, the chassis pan does not have molded in it the fuel lines and the parking brake lines and all that. It's clean of that. So if you do some research, you can actually add your own fuel lines and your own parking brake cables and things, and really make this kit stand out, rather than just painting over what they have got molded in. So they, you know, here, these little tabs is where the cables for the parking brake would go to. So that's really cool. A little research, you know, you can really add a lot to this kit by just adding brake lines and things. And for me, that's a plus, because it's better to add than to have to try to either paint or take something off to add something better later. The inside door panels are very crisp, very clean. Again, the door seams and stuff are shallow. You might want to take and you know, scribe them out a little bit more. But if you're careful with painting and everything, and some foiling on the door, on the window cranks, that could come out to be very good looking doors and an inside interior. In fact, what's nice about having the door panels separate from the chassis pan is it does lend to opening up the doors on this car a lot more than one that had a solid square pan that you couldn't do that with. Also, I noticed on these trees, it's obvious there's parts missing. Part number 126, 124, 127, and 125. They're not in the directions. There's a part over here missing, so this kind of says to me that there's a plan in the future to reissue this kit in probably a racing form or some different version than just a Satellite. Who knows? It could end up, they may issue a Fury kit using this kit, because, you know, the Fury and the Satellite are almost the same exact body style. It's just the front doghouse is different than the back. So that would be neat if they came out with another version from this kit, which I found that they do that a lot. You know, they will come out with a Model King version or something, you know, and that could be definitely in the works. The second bag here, I've already pre-cut everything. Just pre-cut the bag. The second group of trees is this. You have your drum brake backings, or, you know, you could paint and add some detail. The steering wheel has some flash on it, and it's thin where the flashing is, so you'd have to be really careful cleaning that up. Steering column, your horns, all sorts of wonderful things to really make this kit stand out. A separate battery, it's not molded in. The firewall detail is really nice and crisp. I really like the front inner piece here where the headlights go, how it's separate. You know, that really makes it nice. You know, the dash is very clean, shows a lot of detail. The only thing is that they have the detail molded in, but they don't have the gauges molded in. So it seems to me that you'll have to look at some pictures of the real car online, and you may have to do some extra cutting on those decals to get it to fit in there. But you'll have to pay attention, check that out online to see what the thing is. So that's that tree. This tree here has the front clip, okay, and then it has the upper part of the K member with the torsion bars and stuff, and which is odd that they're molded in, because if they have it to where you can pose your steering wheel, your tires, you would think this wouldn't be molded in, but it is. So I don't know, maybe that's odd that they give you the option of posable tires, but you know, that's not posable. Very different. A basic rear end, looks like a 9-inch, separate exhaust and mufflers, so it'd be easier to detail. You know, your realistic looking hood hinges, and what looks to be a 4-barrel intake, and hanging pedals, which represents the parking brake, the brake, and the gas. So it's got the setup to be an automatic car. And then here we have the back seat and the front seats, and the other part of your exhaust. And then you can see on this tree also that it's missing parts, which to me lends to that they do plan on making another version. And when I look at this sheet, it makes me suspect that this part would have more than likely been, you know, instead of having seats, just the back panel for a racing car. But I don't know. That's just my guess. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, so now the last tree we have is the chrome tree. And the chrome is very, very thick on here. It looks really good, but it's very, very thick, and it loses detail in that it's so thick. What's neat here is they have the back of the headlight housings that also snap in. So already you can tell that the headlights, once in place, it's going to look very realistic and be very, very nice. They have separate the little, what do you call them? The knockoff, the simulated knockoff things for the hubcaps or for the rims. They're separate, so that will pull out a lot of detail. Separate windshield wipers, which is really nice. And then we also noticed there are pieces that have been cut out and missing for, you know, obviously for a version that should come out in the future. They only offer stock rims. You know, the bumpers are okay. They should be able to be removed from the tree without damaging the chrome. There's no mold lines in the chrome that shouldn't be there. So the bumpers and stuff are really clean, and it looks really good. I was sort of bummed out when I seen the grille, because when Mobius put out their Ford trucks, the grills were see-through, you know, and these are not. What would be nice is if one of the photo etch companies came out with a photo etched piece for this, because everything's so thin you wouldn't be able to hollow it out. You just have to do a black wash to make it stick out, which is, you know, I can understand why that's pretty tight, but a photo etched piece in here would have been awesome. You know, I might still try to think of what I can do to come up with something that you can actually see through and look good. So there's where we have it. You know, there's not really a lot of chrome pieces for the engine, just the cover, the air filter cover, valve covers, and that's about all they have that I can see so far for the engine. The taillights are molded in chrome, which, you know, it would have been better if they would have put them in a red clear, and then you could have just foiled the chrome pieces on the outside edge. That would have been a lot nicer, but what do you expect? I guess that gives some of those resin guys, like the Missing Link, an opportunity to, you know, create a pair of these. I might call him and ask him if he wants a set of these. You know, I'll send him my originals if he sends me a couple already made. So who knows, in the future you might be able to buy a set of these in red plastic for just a few dollars. So that's what's in the box. So that's what's in the box of Mobius's 1965 Plymouth Satellite. I hope that the video is enlightening and that you enjoyed it. Keep the styrene flowing, keep the model kits happening, visit your local shows, and support one another. And with that, good day, and God bless.